Welcome to www.rei-tv.com. As usual, I'm your host. I almost said guest. I'm your host, Nick. And I got some stuff today. It's just pure content. I really think you're going to dig it. It's going to make you a better investor and help you get more deals. And it's stuff that I don't hear many guys talking about. But anyway, for now, we got a little bit of BS. Here's my BS for the day. Give great phone. You got to learn to give great phone in this business if you want to get anywhere. BS. Bandit sign? Ha! Okay. Maybe I'm getting old, but I think it's funny. Anyway, I remember your grandfather used to think it's funny, like pull my finger funny, that type of thing. I hope I'm not getting there yet. Anyway, we're going to give you some good information, and I'm going to talk about telephone magic. There's certain things you want to do, certain things you don't want to do when you're talking to sellers on the phone. So get out your pen and paper, take some good notes, because this is good stuff. First off, one of the things you want to do, when the first time you're talking to a seller, not so much with a buyer, but the first time you're talking to a seller, sometimes you got the seller on the phone that's just maybe aggressive. Maybe he's asking too many questions. He's not letting you get a word in edgewise. He's trying to take control of the call, that type of thing. There's a little button on your phone, and if you don't have a phone with a hold button, maybe you can switch over to the other line or something, or just pretend they're on hold. But put them on hold. If you got somebody that's just asking too many questions, or they're asking questions that you're not ready to answer yet, just keep putting them on hold. Every time you put them on hold, they're going to lose their train of thought. So, they start asking you questions that you're not ready to talk yet because you're still getting your information about the property and the details of the sale and all that. Well, how long is this going to take for us to get a buyer? Oh, excuse me, sir, 1 minute. Just put them on hold. And then you come back and you take off where you left off. It's a way to take control of the call politely. For all they know, you got another call coming in. You can even say you got another call coming in. But it is a good technique to use when you got somebody that won't let you get your point across, or they wants to just keep talking and talking and talking. They start talking, you put them on hold. You come back, and it sounds silly, but try it. And once you get to the timing, it'll really help you take control of calls. Another one is ask a yes question before you ask a couple tough questions. When you're on the phone, you want to get your potential seller in the habit of saying yes. One of the things they say in live sales when you're talking to somebody is nod your head when you're talking to them, because it gets them subliminally to think about yes. I'm like that doggy, right? I've actually got a Brett Favre bobblehead. I'll show you in a minute. But anyway, here, I'll show you right now. I'm going to get back to the topic. Check it out. Here's my Brett Favre. Here's my Brett Favre bobblehead. Say yes, Brett. Maybe he's saying no. But anyway, that's Brett Favre. But ask yes before a tough question. So at the beginning of the call, hi, this is Nick. Can you hear me okay? Yes. Are you calling about the house that you have for sale? Yes. Anytime you know that you've got a property and you're gonna ask them a tough question, like maybe to drop their price a little bit lower. Get them saying yes first. For example, now I realize that you really want to sell this house quickly, right? Well, yes, I do. And I imagine you've talked to your spouse and you've both decided that you really need to get rid of the property. Yes, we have. Well, I talked to my partner. We need to get it for a little bit less. How about this much? Yes, that's okay. You just really want to get them in the habit of saying yes. It's going to make them more likely, make the call more likely to go in your direction. Say if a lot. This is training that we gave. This was part of one of our training calls for the 90 Deals in 90 Days program. So you're seeing some of the goodies that you get if you're in that program. Anyways, say if a lot. If your property is one that we decide to work with. If your property is at the right price that my partner is interested in it. If there's not too many repairs and it's something we want to put in our program, especially nowadays. It's such a buyer's market. There's so many deals out there. There's so many cheap houses out there. Use the word if a lot. You want your your seller, to be afraid that you're going to say, no, I'm not interested, and hang up the phone. You want them to really believe that they need you a lot more than you need them. And it's the truth, they do. We're helping them out of a jam, okay? By saying if a lot, it puts doubt in their mind that we're going to actually buy that property and help them out, and it's much more likely for them to turn on their sales talk. You're not trying to sell them. You're not convincing them to sell. They need to be convincing you to buy. Once you get that atmosphere on your phone call, you're going to have a lot more successful call. You also want to use mirroring when you're talking to people on the phone. Mirroring. You want to reflect back to them the same personality that you sense they have. So if you're talking to somebody who's talking really fast and asks a lot of questions, then you really want to talk kind of fast and ask a lot of questions. If you're talking to someone who's kind of old and they're talking very quiet and they're talking very softly, then you should talk very quietly and very slowly and softly as well. If you're talking to someone who's kind of talking street, and they're cussing a little bit, be careful, but you might want to cuss a little bit right along with them. People want to do business with people that they feel are like them, people they have something in common with. Subliminally, if you mirror their personality and reflect it back to them, they're more likely to want to work with you. They're going to like you, they're going to trust you more, and you're going to get the deal over somebody else. I have the last question drop, and when I say the last question drop, whenever you're negotiating price, you talk about price, then you get the rest of the details, and this works good. This works best over the phone, although it can work in the home too. And obviously, your main goal of your phone call is to get an appointment to go see the house. But when you've asked them about a price, you've asked them if they can do any better, you've already talked price. One of the last things to do before you hang up that call is try to get a couple $1,000s more off. So you've already kind of talked price. You know what their bottom line is. Okay, thank you very much. I'm going to discuss this with my partners, and I'm going to do my homework and check the market in your area, and I'll get back to you really soon. Oh, by the way, when I talk to my partner, can you come off a couple $1,000s if that makes the difference in us taking the deal or not? It's a last-ditch pitch, I call it. But sometimes, just for that one 10-second sentence, you'll make $2,000, $5,000, $10,000 just for flapping your lips. So don't be afraid to say it. Pet the goldfish. Here's what I mean by pet the goldfish. In conversation, different things come up. Maybe they'll talk about their kids, or they'll say, I got to make this call quick because I got to go pick my daughter up from ballet, or anything you can catch about their life, about their personality, about their family situation, something personal about them by talking on the phone. Well, if you want to bring it up. Oh, your son plays hockey? Gosh, my son plays hockey too, or I used to play hockey. Don't go overboard and lie a lot, but try to find something like that. And again, it goes back with the mirroring. It's creating rapport over the telephone. Another thing that's really good in a lot of cases is answer a question with a question. Sometimes they're not giving you as much information as you want, so you want to use techniques to get them to talk more. So they ask you a question, you repeat the same question back to them. They say, would you be interested in a house that needs quite a bit of repairs? And you say, your house needs quite a bit of repairs? And they keep talking. Or they say, what kind of timeline are we on? Is this something that can be done fast? And you say, well, would you need us to get this done fast? Or they say, I've never heard of anybody doing a deal this way. This sounds, don't take it personally, but it sounds illegal. Is this all right? And you say, why does it sound right to you? Why does it sound illegal? Ask the question back to them that they gave to you, and you'll get a lot more information about what they're thinking and their train of thought and that type of thing. Another thing that makes it, this is going to help you, when you need to call somebody back, set a time for that next call. Make an appointment. Don't just say, okay, I'm going to talk to my partners and I'm going to call you back. Say, okay, I'll talk to my partners, I'll look at your area and see what the property values are, I'll do my homework and research your property, whatever it might be. But instead of saying I'll call you back later or I'll call you back tomorrow, say, I'll call you back tomorrow at 3:15 in the afternoon. Is that good? Set that appointment. By setting an appointment, it makes you seem important, it makes your time seem valuable, plus if they have that appointment, and I even tell people sometimes I'll write it down because I'm going to call you at 3:15 tomorrow. It's easy. You're more likely to get through again. How hard do we work sometimes to get some of these people on the phone? We leave message after message, and they call us, and we're not here, and we call them back. So don't be afraid to set an appointment for a phone call, a specific time at a specific date. It's really important. When you're talking to people, also talk about other deals that you're doing. Talk about other properties you've bought and sold in the area. And spit it out. Don't seem desperate. Seem like you don't care if you get the deal. Again, it goes back to you want them selling you. You want them to be trying to convince you to buy the property more than you convincing them to give us the deal. Be indifferent. Act like you don't care at all. I know some of you are so desperate. You want that deal so bad. I mean, air is not as important to you today as getting that deal. But you can't let them know that. If they sense any desperation over the phone, the deal's dead. So you got to act like you don't care. You got plenty of deals. There's all kinds of people calling you. You're just picking and choosing the best. And this way you'll get the best deal, and you're going to get them more likely to do something a little untraditional or a little differently than what they had planned. That type of thing. So that's really, I hope those are some great tips that you guys can use. I use them all the time. I teach with my people all the time. Brett uses them. Brett's a big fan. Right, Brett? Yeah, I am. Okay, so this is Nick. Thanks for watching. We're at www.rei-tv.com. Now go make an offer.